to another Pokemon Master Datamine analysis discussion video. Um, Before we start, spoiler. I mean, if you looked on top of here, then you've already spoiled yourself. But spoiler alert. Um, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled about the Pokemon Master, what's dropping in Pokemon Masters EX during March 2023, then click away. I'm not really going to be talking about a story or anything. I'm just going to be talking about the new characters. Um, and obviously, probably like the event that the new characters are going to come out in. But then after that, there's not much that I'm going to be spoiling. So yeah. But anyways, you've been warned. Um, so yes, we just got our data mine today. I didn't even think. I wasn't even thinking about like the data mine. I thought it was gonna come like a little bit later, but it came out today, and apparently, obviously, we're getting champion Marnie, champion Bayday. I played Pokemon Sword and I recorded like basically the entire series on this channel, Pokemon Sword, and so like yeah, that was like my blind playthrough, and I call this guy Bayday. I'm pretty sure it's Bead, but I'm gonna call him Bayday, right? Um, Hop. So you get the champion version similar to like the champion Serena and champion Calum. We're also getting Ball Guy. So yes, this is like the Galar region, kind of month for 3.5 anniversary. Yeah, we've already 3.5 years. Isn't that crazy? Um, so we're getting the Galar event, and then we're getting Gloria being added to the trainer lounge, right? Um, so yeah, let's just jump into it because I'm probably gonna this video is gonna hopefully be sub 100 or sub an hour. But Marnie is going to be our striker out of the trio. I'm guessing the trio is gonna be like our anniversary units, similar to last year. I'm pretty sure we had like Rayhan, May, and Skyla, right? But this is a bit different because this year they're Master Fair, so similar to like 3 year anniversary and 2 year anniversary, we got three Master Fairs. These are all Master Fair units. So Martin is a striker. She's gonna have Galarian Moltres here, and Galar Spirit. So basically, this is like the special attack buff one. Because it's a striker, special attack buff one's pretty good. Um, they all have special passives here too. Marnie and Moltres, they have Sinister Aura. So reduce sync move countdown by one. This is going to be super important because all these new units carry, or all these new champion Galarian units carry some sort of like, this I forgot if it's best friend move, beta move. I'm not sure, but they all carry those moves that activate. See, as you see here, activate when the sync move. It depends on sync moving, which is something new in the game. So all their passes like reduce the sync move countdown by one. Then when this character enters, you're gonna get max crit rate, pretty good. Spike move grit, so restores HP by approximately 40 when it drops below half, so similar to first aid 4. And then increases the special attack next by 3 the first time that happens. So if you lose a lot of HP, you're gonna get healed back up, but then you're gonna get, your next special move is gonna do more damage. And then Master Over Mind. This is a crazy one. The user's special attack increases 40% when HP is reduced. So they're coming out with these abilities that increase stats just based off of whatever condition, similar to like last month we had Annabelle, and when you have a zone up, it increases your stats. So this is similar. So you're getting some special attack buffs, and then look at these stats, guys. This is some crazy stats here. So, HP is. I'm looking at a 5-star max potential here at level 150. HP is like almost 900, which is good. And then look at the special attack stat, 568. 568 is a lot of special attack for a Master Fair unit, because usually these Master Fair units, their stats are kind of low. Look at Groudon and Kyogre, right? Their stats are pretty low, but that's because they have this Master the special passive. So not only do you get the passive, which raises your special attack, the Galarian passive, but you also have high base special attack. On top of the Master over Matter or the Mind over Matter passive, it increases the special attack when your HP is lowered. So Marnie just has dumb, super high special attack. It's super dumb, and potentially the highest statted like attacker in the game. I'm not sure exactly like what other units have high attack, but Marnie and Moltres have to be top 3. I'm guessing here. They all these like Galorian birds have like a special move apparently. So Fury Wrath, this is like a flinch. Just high damage flinch 4 move gauge. Protect. So this is pretty interesting. Basically, being able to prevent a hit because there's some you do want to be low HP. You don't want to be like almost dead, but you need to be a little bit lower in HP. So protect is nice to prevent you from dying from like a AoE move, right? And then you have the B Fury Wrath, which activates after you use a sync move. And then you can use it infinite amount of times. So that's awesome. You can use this infinite amount of times. So every time you sync move, you're probably going to use this Fury Wrath, which does more damage than your normal move. And also it has a 50% increased chance of flinching. And then also like it ignores any like passives and critical hit defense and stuff, I think. Or just passives, I just say. It ignores like vigilance and like stuff like that. Doesn't ignore field effects actually. Ignore enduring effects. So similar to like Zekrom or not Zekrom and Reshiram. So ends passive, so it can like bypass those. Which all of the beta moves actually have this for both Beta and Hop. So that's something to keep in mind. Super nice, especially because this move is actually infinite use. And then also power increase by 20% if the user is in a pinch. So like if you are like super low HP, then this does even more damage. And a Triumph Spirit, you raise your special attack max, you raise speed, you raise evasiveness, and you apply enduring effect, which is good because enduring effect and this synergizes. Because you get that 20 increase in attack damage for this move when you're in a pinch. And also the Triumphant Spirit, it hits you for 10% of your health. That's actually amazing because that triggers your passives, and it's only 10% of your health, so that's not that much damage. So yeah, actually with a unit like this, you actually don't want like healing, like the units that like give out healing. For example, like I guess Leaf, Signal Suit Leaf and Venusaur, it gives out healing, right? You don't want that when you use this unit. It's kind of funny. So yeah, I think that this unit, based off like what we see here, just like super high damage. I think that this is, I know that this is going to be the best dark type striker in the game. Just because of the Master Fair. I feel like this is the best dark striker type dark striker in the game, right? I'm not exactly sure how good Lysander and like Lysander, what's the other guy? Cyrus, I'm not sure how good they are. This unit is probably better than like N, Summer N, right? But anyways, here is where, I don't know, this sync grid isn't that good for this unit, I'll be 100% honest, right? You get the adrenaline, or like what I did was I do adrenaline. You can like do speedy entry if you want or whatever, right? Soften up, so your sync move always crits. There's some like protection, endurance buffs that you can do. Power up sync move. Oh, power up sync move when the evasiveness is raised. That actually might be good, because you do raise your evasiveness for the Triumphant Spirit, but not really enough. I don't know. Maybe you can like. I think that's actually pretty good. Maybe you can like do something with that. But then wounded sync up, so you do more damage, and wounded power. So basically, when you've taken damage, you can do extra damage from your sync move and normal move. But then also there's not really anything else. I guess you can use Power Reserve. I'm not a really big fan of that. You can do Fury Wrath, aggravation too. So you can increase your your chance of flinching here, because this is 20%. I'm not sure exactly how much more percentage if you have this, but you can do pretty consistent flinching here. So yeah, as you see here, the sync grid doesn't have that much. I feel like it doesn't have that much like multipliers for like your attacks in your sync moves. Just these two nodes here, and I guess the evasive sync up 3. What raises evasiveness? I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what raises evasiveness. I don't know. Starmie, Misty and Starmie. Um, but yeah, bottom line is I think that this is a great unit, a great dark type striker, tons of just base attack. And honestly, I think at one, because this requires 3 copies. Honestly, I think she's fine at 1 copy. I think at 1 copy you have the base kit, and I think the base kit is great. Obviously, you're not gonna get these extra multipliers, but like she just does so much damage to begin with that I think at 1 copy she's great at 1 copy. Similar to like Anniversary, Lily. You know, I think at 1 copy she's good, and at 3 copies she does get a little bit of a damage boost. But I think 1 copy is super serviceable. Moving on to Bede, all right. Well, I'll tell my opinion at the end, right? But Bede is gonna be your support. Are gonna be like the, like the Johto trio, right? Marnie was like the Ethan. Bede is going to be your Chris, right? And Bede has Articuno, Galarian Articuno, and then of course the Flag Bear is just the normal one that buffs everything, buffs attack, buffs both defense. Pretty good. Yeah, as a support, you probably want the more balanced master passive. Also, convening wings. So again, when this is summoned, it reduces the sync move countdown by 1. Again, just accelerating your sync move countdown. And then raise speed of all your units by 2 stats. That's pretty good. Because yes, you raising speed means that you have more move gauge acceleration, and that means you can use more expensive moves. Ball and Lee teachings. I'm not exactly sure what that word is. Restores 1 MP after you use a sync move, which is pretty good, right? And then built-in vigilance. Built-in vigilance is actually going to be super good here because you can use a lucky skill. You can use any lucky skill. You don't, because usually tanks you want vigilance as your lucky skill, but if you have a built-in vigilance, then you can go ahead and do something else. Move gauge 2 is going to be good here, or adrenaline might be good here as well. You have a bunch of, or head start. You have a few good options to use with Bede. I'm actually not sure if acceleration 1 or adrenaline 1 works, or if even a lucky skill, but I know head start is. But anyways, yeah, you have freezing glare, which does 10, which is like, it's a 4 move gauge move, so you're probably never going to use this. Because as your support, you don't really have the opportunity to have extra move gauge, because you're going to want to use them for your striker. Confusion, super good. 1 move gauge move, super cheap for a support, you want those. B, freezing glare. So this activates when your team's sync move countdown is reduced by 3. While this move is deactivated, so you can't activate you can't select this move, and then if your other units use move before this, then it doesn't reduce this the move after. It only it has to be deactivated once it's used, right? So yeah, so basically when you summon this unit, what I think you want to do is you just want to summon it and then use either the Triumphant Tenacity, or I'll talk about that later, but you probably want to use a move, and then after everyone uses the move, then you can go ahead and use the Beta Freezing Glare as your second wave of moves. And then so what this move does is that you get the damage, whatever, who cares about the damage, it's a support unit, right? 10% of freezing, who cares? Raises defense and special defense of all Alex main players by 1. I mean, that's really good because a good tank, and it applies the free move next for all sync pairs. All right, so what you want to do is, okay, why would that be useful? Are you going to be using Freezing Glare? No, you're probably going to be using Triumphant Tenacity. So what this does is it raises special attack and crit rate of all your sync pairs by 2, which is super strong. As a general buffer. It then also increases physical moves and special move next to all sync pairs by 1 stat. So so what I see the combo here is when I'm theory crafting, right? If you summon this unit, and then you're gonna confuse, and then once you use confuse, you're gonna get the beta or the B freezing glare active, and then you use this. You buff all your defenses and special defense by 1, and then you have the free move next effect. And because Triumphant Tenacity costs 4 move gauges, which is pretty expensive, you use this for free, as your third wave of move, and so you buff everybody, and then you buff special attack next and physical attack next, and then you sync move, and then after you sync move, you have the passive that activates that restores the 1 MP to all your characters, and then you can go ahead and use confuse again, because the thing is with beta or with B freezing glare, like if you don't have the move point for it, I don't think you can trigger the activation condition. So once you restore your MP from the passive, I think this is how it works, then your next wave of moves, you're going to use confusion again, and then you can use the freezing glare again, because it refreshes, because of the passive, it refreshes, and then you can raise your special defense effect again, and then free move next effect again, and then you can use Triumphant Tenacity again. Alternatively, you can use Triumphant Tenacity as your first move instead of confusion, and then use the B freezing glare, because usually you can use the Triumphant Tenacity first, because your other units, I'm talking about Champion Stadium, where you have only 4 move gauges. If you press that condition for extra points, you can use this move first, and then your other 2 units you can buff or whatever, right? And then you can use the B freezing glare for free, and then you can use this for free. So it's pretty good on move gauge economy, if you want to go using, and then at that point you would have full crit rate buff, and then your other units, if you can self buff attack or special attack, will be really good, and then of course they'll be buffed up, and then they'll have raised defense, and then they'll also have a free move. You'll have a free move during the 3rd cycle, or the 4th move cycle, depending on when you use this move, right? Or what position you use this move. And then after that, you get to use this again. You just keep getting to use this same combo every time you sync move, right? And so I think it's it could be super strong here. But yeah, I think that's that. And then for the sync grid, honestly, I'm not really a big fan of this sync grid, to be honest. If you want to go with the freezing route, which is pretty awkward, you can use hostile environment. Entry freebie, again, if you really want to use this unit as your main buffer, then you definitely want entry freebie first, so that you can if you use entry freebie, then you use the trainer move that buffs, and then use the B move, and then use the trainer move that buffs again, and at that point you'll have full crit buffs and everything, right? I think these are kind of useless. Basically just making so that your B move increases more special defense and special defense, which is fine, but again, you're gonna have to be using nodes. I put unflappable, anti-freeze, Team Sharp entry 1. So if you select this node, then you only need to use the trainer move once to get full crit buff, right? You can also make them so whenever they sync, they heal. There's also a confusion route. So aggravation 9. So if you use confusion and hit them once, they'll be confused. So 100% confusion rate, right? And then refresh with the confusion to make this unit super I guess move gauge free, right? Because if your confusions are free, and then your B move is free, and then your trainer move is free, and then you sync move, and then again everything is just free with this unit, right? So super strong. And then you have adrenaline, just to bolster your your capabilities, lowering the sync move. And then also you have every time you hit an opponent that's confused, you heal. I also forgot to mention, Baydays stats are incredible. So higher HP, 900 HP here, and then 263 or 363 defense and 373 special defense. This unit has incredibly high defense. These defense stats and HP stat is so good. Again, for a Master Fair unit, these are amazing stats. Um, so all in all, I feel like this unit can be like super good support, as in like you're just constantly using free moves, right? You're constantly buffing your team. Um, you're constantly buffing your teams by like raising their special defense, raising their defense. You know, constantly giving them attack and defense buffs. Um, you know, you can buff them all. You can buff attack, special attack, and critical hit rate like all maxed out pretty easily. So yeah, this unit seems pretty good, right? Um, so yeah, moving on from Beta here, we have Hop. So I think Hop, first off, design is good, right? Gets the Leon cape, but role is tech. So this is a tech unit. This is like the Lyra, signature Lyra. Um, and then he's gonna be using Zapdos, which is the fighting type. You have Galar Pride, so this is gonna be like the physical attack buffs, because it's like your physical attacker. Right? Pretty cool. I mean, pretty like, I think all these units have the exact same, Master Fair ability as like the not the Canton, but the Johto trio, right? The tech unit has the attack buff. The striker unit had the physical attack buff. And then the support unit had like the general buff. But then this character has lightning legs, so again reduce the countdown by 1, but also when it enters battle raises attack by 6. So you're gonna get full attack, which is good because this is a tech unit, right? So may or may not be your main source of damage here. So being able to raise your attack full is pretty nice. Post-Wick Perseverance is the other passive. When an opponent's defense is lowered, you lower the special defense by the same amount. All right, that's going to be really good, as you'll see later. And then down for a freebie. So applies the free move effect to the user when any of his stat is lowered. When any of his stat is lowered, very interesting, right? So like yeah, when this character gets stats lowered, then you get a free move. And then, you know, stats. Okay, stats are in line for like a Master Fair unit. You know, not very good attack, not really good defense, not really good other stats. You know, they're not terrible, but they're not good. But this makes sense for a tech unit. Usually tech units are like the units that have really good stats. And then like usually support units and striker units have like not really that good stats. But I feel like this time around is different. Is actually the strike and support unit that have amazing stats. And then the tech unit has like pretty poor stats. But that's okay because you're gonna this unit feels like more of a striker than Marnie, honestly. So if you have Thunder's Kick, lowers defense by 1. All right, so keep in mind when you use this move, you lower defense by 1, but you also lower special defense by 1 because of the passive. Dire Hit all, so this can raise crit rate of all your allies. So it gives me like May vibes. You know, May also is a tech unit. May with the Blaziken. May with the Blaziken also is a tech unit, so you can use that character as like damage, but also they have the buff that buffs crit rate all. B Thunder Kick. So this move requires the sync move countdown to go down by 6. So again, this move you're probably only gonna get like once like every sync move cycle, right? So you have to use sync moves. So you're gonna summon this unit out, and you're probably gonna use 2 like trainer moves, and then you're gonna use the Thunder's Kick here. And what Thunder's Kick does, again, it ignores passes, ignores enduring effects and all that stuff, but it also lowers the target's defense and speed by 3, which is great because if you lower defense by 3, you're also lowering special defense by 3, and then you're also lowering speed, right? And so the first sync move, before the first sync move, you can use the Thunder's Kick once, which lowers like everything by 3, and then by the second sync move, you're probably going to be at the point where you've lowered everything by 6. So you're going to lower defense by 6, special defense by 6, and speed by 6. In a Triumphant Research, now this is the money move here. This is the money move. Turns the field into fighting zone. Alright, and then it raises the user's speed by 3, and it lowers special defense by 1. It lowers special defense by 1, but keep in mind, if you lower special defense by 1, you get a free move, right? So it's not terrible, right? Because you will get a free move after you use Triumphant Research. Also, Triumphant Research raises speed, which is nice, and it also is Fighting Zone. So it's a move that doesn't cost any gauge that summons a zone. I think Hop is the best zone setter we have in the game, simply because when he sets the zone, it's free. Yes, I know. Psychic Zone by Anniversary May, 2.5 Anniversary May. I mean, that's pretty cheap zone setting. But other than that, I'm not sure other units have like really cheap zones to set. I think Calum actually is a good zone setter. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but his zone setting is pretty good too, right? So, yeah, this is incredible because you get a free zone placed down by this trainer move, but also you raise speed. So again, that buffs your move gauge acceleration, and then also you get a free move with this unit. And then you're probably going to use, obviously, if you have a free move, there's only one move that this character has that costs gauge with the Thunder Kick. So you're always going to, like, this unit is, like, always free, right? Or I feel like this unit can always be free. And then, of course, your sync move, whenever defense is lowered, greater the attack. All right. Now we go on to his sync grid. And now this is where we have big sync damage. All right, keep in mind that the first sync move that you use, you've lowered defense probably by 2 or by 3 or 4. Because if you decide to use the Thunder's Kick, then you can reduce everything by 1 again. But for his sync move, he has like Brain Teaser. He has the moves that buff when you lower speed, defense, and special defense. So Smarty Pants, when it lowers special defense, raise sync move. Slow opponent, sync 5. Power sync move when the target speed is lowered. So yeah, and then his sync move, it does more damage when the defense is lowered. All right, but then you also have Chase Down and Inertia. So Inertia lowers the target's lower the target speed. Boom, more sync move damage. So you get Inertia, Smarty Pants, Slow Opponent, Sync 5. You get the Fighting Zone. You get the buff from being 6-star. You get the buff from the sync move itself. So your sync move is just gonna do so much damage. It's big sync damage, right? Like, isn't that crazy? I feel like this might be the best sync move, like single damage sync move user. Oh, also you get the buff from the Galar passive. Don't forget about that. So yeah, I think the other passes you don't even want to worry about, or the other sync tiles you don't even want to worry about, just because you just want that big sync damage, right? Obviously you can use, if you want to use this character as more of a support unit, because this character does have support capabilities, right? You can use this as like your sub DPS. You can use any other physical or any other fighting striker. For example, like I have Diantha with Keldeo. That can be your main striker, but that character also lowers special defense, and speed. So you can use them in conjunction. Stuff is getting wild. I'm telling you, stuff is getting wild now that I'm talking about it. You have Fighting Zone buffs. You have, like, if you want to use this character as like a buffer, you have the dire hit buffs. Adrenaline, of course, all these characters I feel like have adrenaline so that you can get that sync move faster. Sync freebie, again, pretty good if you just want to start off using the Thunder's Kick. Brain Teaser, the more the target's special defense is lower, the more powers up your moves. Again, we already kind of have enough damage, and I feel like the sync move is what you really want. And then more like Fighting Zone buffs. So yeah, I feel like this unit is like super crazy good, because not only can this could be a support unit, because you have Fighting Zone that's free, and then you have the trainer move, which is also free, and it makes it so that your Thunder's Kicks is free, and then your B Thunder Kicks are always going to be triggering. So again, similar to Bayday, this character just has so many free moves. It's kind of insane, huh? It's kind of insane. And then your sync move is just gonna do big sync damage. Keldeo and Dianza already do really good sync move damage. I think this unit should, in theory, do more, right? Because they have more buffs. So yeah, this character is a bit crazy, huh? And the next character, we have the Ball Guy. Yes, Ball Guy's in the game, 5-star support unit. This character has Amoonguss, a very interesting name for a Pokemon. Amoonguss came first, guys. Amoonguss came first. So this unit is a bit interesting because whenever it attacks, it leaves the opponent paralyzed, poisoned, or asleep. Keep in mind, asleep doesn't last forever. So usually the enemy is just gonna be poisoned or paralyzed. Like that's just what they're gonna be permanently. And then underhand refresh, every time it hits a character that's affected by stats condition, which is every time, it's gonna restore 1 move point for all the moves. So that's an incredibly powerful passive, and because of that, its move point moves probably aren't going to be that powerful. Because what a passive like this is, like, of course, you're not gonna have potions and stuff like that as like your trainer moves. And then team hit me up 9, so it raises one of these stats: attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. Every time it hits one, every time the user is hit by attack move, right? Stats for a tank, this is more in line for like support unit. That Bede and his Articuno just have incredible stats. So this is what is like pretty general for like, you're not good stats but not terrible as a support unit. Amoonguss actually has 4 moves, so we don't see them here. But we can look at the moves at this site here, because I don't know, Serebii is kind of slacking. Moves. So yeah, you have absorb. So absorb, 1 move gauge and it heals yourself. So that's super good, right? Because it's cheap. Move gauge boost. So again, this unit, you're gonna be having a really good move gauge economy, just because like you're gonna charge your move points every time you use absorb, right? Because if you hit a unit that has stats condition, absorb is you're always gonna be hitting a unit that has stats condition. So you're always gonna be refreshing your move points. And then also, it has clear smog, which is free. No, it's not free. I'm lying. It costs 2 move gauges. It does 70, and it never misses, and it returns the target stats to normal. I don't think clear smog is that good. I don't think you're really gonna be using this. Or returns I'm sorry. It returns the target's raise stat to normal. I take back everything I just said. With a 100% accuracy, not even 100% accuracy, 100% accuracy all the time, I should say. Being able to reduce your opponent's raise stats is pretty strong, right? And then on the ball, so again, every time you use a move, this is going to be refreshed. Or every time you use absorb, this is going to be refreshed. And so this actually is like an RNG move, because it does one of several things. It restores HP by 10. It restores, or it can remove all stats conditions from all your units, or it can raise crit hit rate of all units. Because this is an RNG move, I personally feel like the stats condition removal and the critical hit rate buff is not really that useful. Probably what you want is just the 10% healing of the user, which 10% healing of the user isn't that good, to be honest. But I mean, it's free because you're going to be like user absorbing, which is going to heal yourself, and then you use on the ball and hopefully heal yourself, and then you're going to be sneaking in some clear smogs to return your opponent's stats to normal. That's kind of what I'm feeling here with this unit. This unit also has impervious, interference, immunity, and vigilance. So honestly, you can choose any one of them depending on what you want your lucky skill to be, right? You can't get impervious as a lucky skill, so you might consider this. You could get vigilance and interference immunity as a lucky skill, so just keep in mind all that stuff. You can make them buff their move gauge, refresh. Obviously you don't really need this that much, simply because you should probably use this instead, actually, just because every time you use absorb, you're going to be refreshing, right? So you can have them be more of a consistent poisoner, Again, this isn't badly poisoned. This is just normal poison. So you can have absorb, have a higher chance of normal poisoning, which is fine. Um, I personally like to use the trainer move because I think what you want to do with this unit is just absorb trainer move, absorb on the ball, absorb on the ball, absorb on the ball, and being able to give propulsion one for on the ball, 20% chance of reducing countdown is like fine, right? But then also every time you use on the ball, it raises some sort of stat. So again, because this is like your support unit, you probably want to raise that defense, special defense. So yeah, I think this unit is pretty decent. Obviously not on the same level as like Bede, but like I think it's fine. I think it's fun. It can reduce your opponent's race stat, but also heal itself pretty well. And again, really good move gauge economy with all these units. Bede, Hop, and Ball Guy, all really good move gauge economy units. But yeah, this unit not much to talk about else in my opinion. And then for the trainer lounge, we get Gloria added, which is cool, right? I think we had Morning before, and now we have Gloria. Support again, Serebii is slacking because she is actually a striker, as you'll see, obviously, right from the moves. Um, Steadfast 9, immediately I feel like this unit is useless. Any striker that does recoil to itself, in my opinion, is just bad. Um, the only exception to this is Rayhan, because Rayhan has a tile in his sync grid that reduces um, damage just straight up. It just reduces recoil damage totally. So in my opinion, I feel like that's the only relevant recoil unit, right? Um, First aid, you get to heal yourself. Oh, big whoop! You can literally hit the opponent and like kill yourself in one shot, right? It doesn't really matter if, like, healing is nice. Super preparation, again, this might sound good because super preparation means that you do more damage. I feel like what are other units that have this super preparation? I think Anniversary Lily that I mentioned earlier has super preparation. But like, okay, so you're gonna be hitting um your super effective move. So this is a grass striker, right? So if you hit a grass move and it does super effective hit, it does more damage. Okay, that's good. You do more damage, but you also do more recoil to yourself, so you're more likely to die, right? The stats, garbage stats. It's a free unit technically because if you have Gloria, that is, if you have Gloria, this is a free unit. So of course all these trainer lounge units aren't really that well statted. Razor Leaf, you're probably not gonna really want to use Razor Leaf because it doesn't really do that much damage. Accuracy is low. Can raise its own raise its own crit rate all the way max. Glorious Advantage is good because you can you raise your attack by 4. You raise your speed by 2. You get the gradual healing, so you can heal yourself, right? And then Wood Hammer is the 4. No, it costs 3. I'm sorry. It uses 3 move gauges and decent grass damage, and you take 25% of damage dealt, which is reduced by which is reduced by 90% because of Steadfast 9. So technically, you're only gonna be whatever move you use, you'll only take like 2.5% of the damage, right? Which in my opinion is still too much. I think that's how the math works. For the sync grid here, I mean, what you could do is I immediately went for Steadfast 5 because again, you want to reduce that recoil damage as much as possible. There's some you have Furious Brawn, which more attack is raised, the more it powers up your move. Again, you could use this instead of I put a lot of heavy emphasis on like some other stuff, but you can use this Furious Brawn. You get more buffs with your trainer move. You can buff that more. Rejuvenate 6, so every time a sync move, you get more move gauge. And then Double Down. So Double Down is good because it powers up the sync move when it's super effective. In my opinion, I like this more than Furious Brawn on this character because like when you use sync move, you don't get recoil. So buffing your sync move is good. Again, this is a lot of super effective and double down stuff. So you really want to use this as like your grass striker against grass weakness. And then Amp 1 raises speed every time you hit a crit. When you hit a crit which is nice, just to be able to raise your speed all the way max, basically. Um, so yeah, I think this unit is, I mean, it's fine because it's free, technically. If you have Gloria, it's free. It's a fine unit. Um, but you're probably just gonna end up killing yourself, right? Anything with any character with recoil is just not good in my opinion. Just straight up not good. Um, but it's free, so I guess you can't really complain. Yes. So there you go. Those are all of the 5 new units. They did add a bunch of sync grids, so I might make a follow-up video to this talking about the sync grids that they've added into the game, which will be fun. So in total, what do I think about these units? I think Morny, or let me think, I just think in total, all these units are super good, right? I don't think that we're on the same level as like 3-year anniversary. I still think, you know, Ash and Pikachu is the best unit in the game, and all that stuff. But these units are pretty fun because you always have the B move active. You can always get those moves active, and it's free, right? These moves cost no move gauge. Keep in mind that these moves cost no move gauge, and so these units are all gonna be good for like your move gauge economy, except Morny. So Beidei's super good, especially with their passive that refreshes their move gauge, or move points. And yeah, so again, I think Marnie, if I had to grade her, I would put her probably put her like A tier. I don't know if she reaches S tier. I'm not exactly sure. It's because S tier is like the best, right? And then A tier is like super good. I think she has really high special attack, right? Just incredibly high special attack, but she doesn't have that much multipliers on her sync grid. So I think at 1 copy she's gonna be great, and like I mentioned, and just high damage. Again, the best dark type striker in the game. I think she's S tier, or I think she's for sure A tier. I'm not sure if I'll put her S tier, but she's definitely really strong. So yeah, Beidei. Now, even though Beidei is a really good buffer, right? Can buff attack special, a really good just general buffer, and can raise defense as well. So you're raising defense and special attack and providing free move gauge. So again, your even though he doesn't raise speed, that's a lie. He does raise speed in his passive. Even though he doesn't fully raise speed, getting free moves every once in a while is like, or not even every once in a while, but every like 2 move waves, getting a free move is like incredibly strong. Being able to buff physical move, you know, your physical move next effect and then special move next effect is super strong too, because I'm pretty sure those apply to like sync moves and whatever. I'm pretty sure they apply to sync move, right? Maybe not. I should check that. Yeah, just super strong. But the problem is he doesn't have any healing, right? And even though this triumphant tenacity is strong, a lot of units can just self-buff themselves, right? You have a lot of units that just self-buff. Like Marnie and Hop both self-buff themselves, essentially. So if you're going to use Beidei with Marnie and Hop, really this move is only going to be providing that physical buff and the special buff, which again is strong, but I don't think it's that strong. And you know, the confusion is nice, the freezing is nice here, but yeah, I don't know. I just, for me, this character is kind of in the same situation as like Dawn, you know, Signature Dawn with Cresselia. People might say that this unit is super strong and might have a use for him, but for me personally, I just kind of, yeah, I'm not sure about this unit. I think this unit is just a really great general unit, but I would prefer like, yeah, I would prefer something that just has healing. Like this doesn't have healing, and you know, maybe you can get away with. I mean, you do have recuperation. All right, don't get me wrong. You do have a little bit of healing, recuperation here, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think people would put him in S tier. I think that's what I'm guessing. People are gonna put him in S tier because again, his move gauge economy is just crazy. His buffing is crazy. Don't get me wrong. All right, his buffing is crazy, and his stats are crazy too. On top of that, And then he's a master fair unit, so he gets more. You get more buffs. So just a lot of buffs all around. But without healing, yeah, I'm not sure. I prefer. I really like healers, right? Like I would say Cynthia with Lucario is better than Beta here. But I mean, some people might be able to argue the other way around, which I think is fine. Um, so yeah, I think this unit is just in general. I would put him. I personally would put him A tier because he doesn't have any healing. I don't think you can be an S tier support unit if you can't heal your your other characters, right? Like Blue, Cygnus who Blue with Blastoise. Of course, he doesn't buff and doesn't have the same amount of stats as Beta here, but he can heal everybody, and he applies endurance to everybody too, which is pretty or endure to everybody, which is pretty strong. Of course, Cynthia, S tier support unit because she's able to potion, on top of being able to do everything else that she does. So yeah, um, I wouldn't put him A tier. I wouldn't put him S tier. I'll put him A tier because it doesn't heal your teammates. But I'm guessing people will put him in S tier. Um, yeah, but it's just differing opinions. I think he's still really good though. I don't think you'll be sad if you get him. His sync move does kind of require. Um, that's a lie. You can get away with one copy of him. I didn't activate a lot of his expensive nodes, and even his expensive nodes don't even do that much. So I think you'll be happy with him at one copy. Hop, I think Hop is the best unit out of all these units. I, I might even say he's the best looking unit. I think Marnie's cool. I don't like how Beatty looks, but I think Hop might be the best looking unit. Because I really like the vibe he's going for. And then also I think he's just the best unit in general out of all of them. You know, he's versatile. You can use him as a support unit because of his cheap moves and his fighting zone. I think you need a support unit. At one copy, he's great at supporting. At three copies, I think he's going to be a really high damage dealing unit because you get all the good you get all the good nodes. Actually, let me see here. If you have him at two copies, yeah, if you have him at two copies, you can't get the good nodes. So you kind of need him at three copies to get the good nodes here. So he's like one of the characters that you need, in my opinion, six copies, right? Or not, sorry, not six copies, but you need him at three copies to get his full sync grid. But then once you have him at three copies, I think he's the best fighting striker in the game. I would put him above. I'll put him above. What's that character's name? Diantha and Keldeo, just because I think that what he provides is that he provides the fighting zone himself. He provides the fighting zone himself. He can self buff himself all the way, which it's gonna take a long time because you have to use dire hit twice. But he can buff himself all the way, and Diantha can't buff herself all the way. So I think he's super strong. Diantha is really good too, but I think this character is stronger than Diantha. Obviously, as a Master Fair unit, that would make sense. So I would definitely put him as S tier. I think he is super strong, and I think he's gonna do big sync damage. I think potentially might even be able to off type with him, just because of how easy he is to get running. Because he can self debuff, right? He can self buff and self debuff, so you don't really need any other support units with him. He can do it all. He can buff himself max, he can debuff the opponent max, and then he can also activate fighting zone, right? Like, he does everything himself. And yeah, I just think because he can do everything himself, it makes him super versatile. It makes him easy to splash into any team that you want. And I mean, just super strong. I think he's in my opinion the best unit out of all these three, and I think he's easy S tier. But yeah, even though that's why his stats are low. If you guys are wondering why his stats are so low compared to the other birds, is because just incredible, incredible unit in my opinion. Ball guy, look, he's the fun unit, right? You have your good units, now you have your fun units. Ball guy, look at him. He's a fun guy, okay? Literally, he has a fun guy. So yeah, I think he's okay. I think he's like B tier, B, C tier, right? Like, he provides some stuff, right? but he's kind of awkward. I feel like his kit's kind of awkward. I mean, being able to reduce your opponent's race stats to 0 is pretty good. So yeah, I might put him at like B tier. I don't think he's A tier. I don't think he's quite A tier as support. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's a lot better than. But I just think his RNG on the ball, 20% or 10% of maximum HP. It's just not good. Maybe 20 or 30% would be pretty strong, but 20-30% might be too strong. But then again, we have Professor Sycamore that like self heals like crazy. So yeah, I don't think he's that good. And then Gloria, I think she is pretty unusable. She has recoil. Like, I just think any character that has recoil is unusable. I mean, of course you can use her Razor Leaf and then sync with her. But again, you're just losing so much damage, and yeah, I don't think she's that good at all. I think Gloria's like really bad. I would put her at like unusable. I don't know where I would put unusable. So you have S, A, B is like usable. Or B is good, I should say. B is like good, and then C is like usable, and then I guess D is like unusable. I think she's unusable. Same thing. Anything with recoil is just unusable. Besides, again, Rayhan, with Drulodon. That's the only recoil unit that's not unusable. Everybody else like is just unusable. Well, technically, you have units like that have a recoil move, but they also do other things. Like Volkner, for example, does other things. Darach, you know, Caitlin's Butler also does different things, even though he has recoil. So a pure DPS with recoil is just garbage. So Gloria's garbage. So yeah, that's my summary of everybody. What will I be doing? I'll be honest. I saw these 3 units, and I immediately rolled for Emma. I'm waiting for Zinnia. If Zinnia's not in the data mines, it's just okay. I don't care. I think these units are strong. Don't get me wrong. I really think that all these 3 units are really strong. But yeah, I'm honestly not a big fan of Beatty's kit. I think he's super strong, but I'm just not a fan of a support unit that has no healing. I just think that feels super bad. Hop, I think Hop, again, strongest unit here, but I already have Diantha. I already have Diantha with Keldeo. I already have Cynthia with Lucario. I feel like I don't really need a character like him, right? If you don't have Diantha and you don't have Cynthia, or you're just looking for a really good physical or fighting type striker, or you're just searching for a good striker or a good unit in general, you know, I feel like Hop with Zapdos is really good. But for me, I feel like if I roll for him, I don't think I'd have much use for him. Also, it's like a character that, like I mentioned, he's good, but like you need 3 copies to really unlock that damage. And yeah. Again, I rolled for Emma, and then I like used 2 move candies on her. I like Emma, okay? I like Hop, but I also really like Emma. So I just rolled for Emma. Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip both Beta and Hop. I think they're both a 100%. I'm gonna skip them. Like, there's no way I'm gonna roll for them. I think they're strong, but I'm just not gonna roll for them. When it comes to Marnie, I technically don't have a bespoke dark type striker, right? I have Champion Serena, and I have Summer N. But yeah, I think that I'm not sure. Again, she's super strong, and she's good at 1 copy, so rolling for her is like not terrible. But like, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know when her banner is going to end, so I might wait until like the next data mine to see if I'm going to roll for her. So she's like a maybe I'll roll for. I like her design as well, right? So that just gives me more reason to roll, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna 100% roll for any of these characters. I 100% won't roll for Beta and Hop. I think Marnie is like a maybe depending on what the next data mine is. Ball Guy obviously is a skip. You know, I'm just not a big fan of Ball Guy. And then yeah, so thank you for watching. That was you know, the 2023 late February data mine. And yeah, I will make another video talking about a sync grids, probably about the other units, because there's more stuff to this patch. But yeah, anyways, just bottom line, Marnie is super good, Beta is super good, Hop is insane, Ball Guy is not that good, but he's okay, Gloria's trash.